Oh, I just got off the most amazing summit yet. And I know I say that a lot, but every time that Evan and Annie do their virtual coach summits, they always just get better. But this particular one was really special. As you know, I attended an event back just almost 2 months ago now, because it was at the end of January and we're now into March. So it was about a month and a bit, but I attended this event and I spoke on stage at the success panel. And not only did I speak on the success panel, I closed the success panel. And how did I do that? Well, first of all, I just have to tell you where I was at years and years ago. So the first time I noticed that I was so horribly shy and could not make friends and couldn't get in front of people and couldn't talk was when I was about 2 or 3 years old. It was at a friend's birthday party. She was my one best friend. I had become her best friend because our nanas, our grandmothers, happened to be friends. So the grandchildren naturally played together. And so I went to her birthday party and I was all excited because I was going to get to celebrate my friend's birthday. She'd always come to mine. I'd always come to hers. But I just remember walking up the stairs and I was all excited to see her. And then there was another girl there and she was playing with my best friend. And it wasn't jealousy, it was fear. Oh no, I'm not the only kid here. There's other kids here. I don't know this girl. This girl probably won't like me. And now she's with my friend, so my friend won't play with me. And I can't do this. And before I even got up the stairs, because we were in one of those houses like in the 80s with the different levels, I ran outside and I went back to the car and I cried to my mother and I said, kids. And then my friend is trying to tell me, he's like, no, but that's from Sarah. It's okay. We can play together. But I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Flash forward a few years later, I'm about to enter kindergarten and I'm already the smallest kid in the class. I'm a November baby. And not only was I a November baby, but I was also a tiny November baby. So all the other kids were like kindergarten kids and I was same age as them basically, but I looked like I was 3. So it was a running joke in our family that if we went out to a restaurant, I was 3. I'm a very, very smart 3-year-old because, of course, 3-year-olds eat for free. So they were able to save some money and we could go on trips and things. And this kind of followed me my whole life. When I got into high school, same thing. I was the smallest kid. And elementary school, like I didn't start to grow until I was 15 years old. And then finally, I became average adult height. But for a very long time, I was not used to that. I was this tiny, tiny little thing looking up at everybody else around me. And I was scared. Being this tiny little person in this world with these kids that are supposed to be the same age as you, but they seem to be bigger and stronger and smarter. It was very intimidating for a very long time. And I just could not share things because I was always afraid. Because I got to kindergarten and I had this friend who was a neighbor and I latched onto her. But when she had other friends around, I was now the odd person out and I would get picked on and I would feel nobody likes me. And this followed me my entire high school career too. If nobody likes me, nobody cares about what I have to share. I was really into writing and I wanted to share my gifts and I was really into teaching what I knew, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't get in front of people. I wanted to take drama classes, but I couldn't get on stage. There's no way I could get on stage in front of people. I wanted to share my writing and get into those contests. My friends were doing it, but oh no, I couldn't have my work looked at by other people. I couldn't be judged. They'd hate me. And then I would know that I was no good. I had a teacher in elementary school who told me that I was really good and talented and I could do drama. And I was getting A's in it, but I didn't follow up with it. And I had a teacher in high school who told me I could write a book someday. And a part of me was really excited. And the other part was like, it'll never happen. Well, if you know what I did over this summer, you know, I ended up writing a book and it's on my website. And I'm just so psyched because this isn't even the first, like, this is just the first step. This isn't even like the only book that I'm ever going to write. I have another one that I'm thinking of writing on my entire 5-pillar system for life. But you're probably wondering how the hell I went from being this terrified kid who couldn't make friends, spent her entire elementary school latching onto one friend who, as soon as that friend was in a group of other people, I shrank into the background. And this was a thing with all of my best friends that I had, is that as soon as other kids were around, I would shrink and I'd be self-conscious and I wouldn't speak up and I wouldn't share anything. And my friends would always be like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm shy. I'm shy is what I said. I'm an introvert. That was my excuse. I'm an introvert. Introverts don't get in front of people. Introverts don't talk. Well, that's a lie. Your excuses are lies. My best friend Warren says that all the time. Your excuses are lies. And he's an introvert, by the way. But you wouldn't know it by talking to him because he's the most loving person. And I have so many introverted friends in the virtual coach community, and my mentors as well are all introverts. And when they share that and they're like, we're introverts, I'm like, but you're speaking on stage with all these people around and you can do it. So maybe I can do it too. And that's what I really want to get to the point across, is that your excuses are lies. And I had that lie for a very long time. I'm shy. I can't make friends. I'm shy. Nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody likes me. I'm not good enough. Whatever it was, nobody's going to care about what I have to say. If I call them, they're just going to be like, oh, Carly, why do I want to talk to her again? Like that was my mentality. I couldn't talk to a cute boy I liked. I couldn't even talk as a friend. I couldn't make friends. I went my entire motherhood career latching on again to only one mom. But here's what got me out of it. And it's really counterintuitive. But I started to see this as I was growing up, that when I started a project that I was really passionate about, and I found other people who were also on their own path, maybe working on something similar, but not always. Sometimes we just have our own projects. Suddenly, those conversations were really easy. So I started off small with online, because when the internet happened, I had the ability to stay anonymous. I could hide behind my computer screen. I could write my stories. I could put them out there under a pen name. Nobody knows who I am. It doesn't matter. If they don't like it, it doesn't matter. They can't see me. So it's all okay. And they're strangers. I can't see them either. I can't tell if they don't like it. But instead, what happened is I got a whole bunch of massive reviews and love. And then another thing happened is that I'd start to read other people's stories. And this one friend of mine, Sar, she's amazing. She ended up writing a story that I just absolutely adored. I'm like, I love your writing style. And we connected on the fact that we were both doing something similar. We both had the same following. And we're like, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's just be friends. So I've still never to this day met her in person. I have known her since 2010. Okay. So think about that for a minute. I have a best friend who actually bought me my very first iPhone just so we could FaceTime and text each other. She's in LA now. I'm over here. When I first met her, she was in New York, and we used to get on Skype all the time and just talk and hang out and watch our shows together. And then we would also push each other to write better stories. She sends my kids gifts every single birthday and Christmas. Like, that's how tight our friendship is, even though we've never met. The internet is absolutely the most amazing thing. I freaking love it. It's an introvert's dream. But I also had other communities before that. I'm just going to tell you something. I have been at a convention where they had soap opera stars, and I got in front of them and I had real conversations with actors and actresses in a soap opera that I had been following and I loved for a number of years, that my mother had actually been following for years. And I had grown up with that family, like that's what they would watch. And I got to actually meet them, but not just meet them. I also got to be in a big group of women. We had our own community, our fan community, and we had one of the actors who was part of a super couple we were following. We've got a picture where I am sitting on a big bed with all these women with that actor in the middle. The next year after that, I have a picture of me being spun around by another actor who was only 3 years older than me. And he was like the heartthrob for that particular series at that time. And I got to have pictures of me with like my favorite actors and actresses and my favorite characters, basically, of this show I was watching, with their arms around me. I have a picture of me over a giant margarita glass. And I've got all these women around me that I hadn't even known aside from being on the internet. And the thing is, I got on a plane to go see them when I was only 21 years old. Okay, so I was 21 years old. They had this event. I had never thought of getting on a plane and meeting a bunch of strangers before in my life, but I went and did it. And why? Why? Well, I will share that in a minute, but let me just continue. Because again, you have to remember where I was, this little girl who was scared and didn't make any friends, to suddenly having this influence in her life. It gets better. Because here's the thing, is that in each one of these scenarios, and we just did training on this to see where the gateways were. This is where I'm leading you. Is that in every single one of these scenarios, I did one thing, actually two things. The first, I was creating value of some kind out there. I was putting my ideas and my insights and my genius out there for others to consume, which then gave value to them. I did this in my fan fiction, and I did this in the community when it came to the soap opera. I was writing insights into recaps and things, and I was putting that value out there, and that got me noticed. That's not all I did. That's not all I did. Because when you get noticed, people start connecting with you authentically. The next thing I did is I loved on them, because I was such a scared little girl growing up. And because I could hardly make friends growing up. When I did find those people who wanted to connect with me, my best friends, you know what I did? I loved them. I was like, oh my God, somebody actually wants to hear what I have to say. I love you so much. I am going to support you in whatever you want to do, because I love you and I'm going to love you into your greatness. In fact, one of my best friends, when I was 10 years old, she had been put into a class situation where she didn't want to work with me. And I just wanted to work with somebody. I just needed a partner for this project, and nobody wanted to be my friend. Think about that for a minute. Nobody wanted to be my friend. All the other kids paired up, and I'm sitting there alone at my table. Well, my teacher was not going to have that, because I was such a loving little girl. And I loved my teacher too. So of course I always loved on my teachers. This is another thing I do. I love on my teachers. When I find someone I resonate with, I love on them too. But she got mad because there's this little trio of girls, this cluster, and they were not going to give up. So she took one of the girls from that cluster. And she said, no, this is not a trio. This is a partnership. You need to move over here and work with Carly. And she's like, I don't want to work with Carly. She's the weird girl. Why would I want to work with her? Please don't make me work with her. I'm already unpopular enough as it is. And I'm in this group with these girls and I need to fit in. I really can't afford to be hanging out with the loser in the class is probably, I mean, Amanda, I'm calling you out here. If you are watching this later, if that is how it was in your head, I know you said something about, I can't remember the exact words that you used. I don't have that journal anymore, but I just remember you had such a view of me until we sat down together. And then I was like, yay, a girl. I'm going to love her. Even though she probably thinks I'm weird, I'm just going to love her because I don't know how much time I'm going to have with her before she goes back to her friends and goes back to ignoring me again and never wants to talk to me again. And that's fine because you know what? For the time that we have, I'm going to love on her. And you know, this magical thing happened is that we became best friends, and not only best friends, but we are sisters. Even though she's all the way in New Jersey now and I don't get to see her, even though we live completely different lives from where we were at, if she comes down to Vancouver, I am going to love her and support her anytime she comes down and is able to see me. I mean, we didn't get our chance this time, but it will happen. And as soon as I see her again, I'm going to hug her and love her. Amanda, I mean it. Like, seriously, that is happening. But that's the thing, is that when you put value out into the world, first of all, that gets you out of that mentality of nobody cares, because somebody is going to resonate with it. When you are putting your heart out there for others to actually see, it's not so scary because you're going to start to get those reviews. You're going to start to get those comments. People are going to start to say, yes, yes, that's amazing. Wow, that is so cool that you did that. I wish I could do that. I would be so scared to put stuff out there, but you're actually doing that. And the thing is that you have a gift inside of you that you might be scared to share, but others are going to love it. So that's the first step as an introvert, is to put that value out there, to actually do it. The next step, of course, is that when people start responding, instead of hiding, you actually take that praise and you don't brush it off. You actually thank them. And then you give it back. You reflect their greatness and you love them. Because what happens is that you start to see yourself the way others see you. They see your brilliance. You start to tap into those insights. You start to think, yeah, I am amazing. Why can't I go out and speak on this? Why can't I go out and talk to somebody? Somebody out there is going to love me and they're going to just be like, oh my God, this is amazing. But better than that, I love myself. I'm freaking awesome. I rock. I rock. And other people around me, they are so amazing and I love them. And I'm just so grateful to have them in my life. Then the final thing, and this is the important one, is that when you're putting out that value and when you're reaching out to people to love them, you have to do it from a place of detachment. This is the most important thing, is doing it from a place of detachment. If you put value out in the world and nobody comments right away, or you might get 1 or 2 bad reviews, and you are attached to the praise, what happens is that you're going to focus on all that negativity and you're going to stop. If you put your love and attention out there to people and maybe they're busy, maybe they're shy, maybe they don't know how to respond yet, maybe they love you so much, but they themselves are scared. But if you do it in a way that you expect it right away, it's like, I put love out there, you have to acknowledge me right away. Again, when they don't respond, for whatever reason they don't respond, it's, they don't love me. They don't love me. I'm never putting myself out there again. And guess what? I have sent messages to friends and had them not send me anything back for 3 years. I've had messages that just sit in my inbox. In fact, my best friend, the one that was pushed into the group with me, and she didn't want to be there, but she became my best friend, my soul sister. For her, I know that she's possibly going to have days where she just isn't able to respond right away. She's so freaking busy. She's got such a beautiful life. And I know that if I send her a text in December and she doesn't respond until April, that's okay. That is okay. Because now the thing is that it's not about you. It's not about getting that validation that you're awesome. When you put your love out there without attachment, without expectation, what it allows you to do is to be able to share your deepest authentic self in that moment instead of just waiting for the perfect time. Because let me tell you, there is no perfect time. As a mom, there is no perfect time. For me, if I have an insight, if I have an idea, if I have something that I just want to share love on someone, I'm just going to send them the message. And sometimes I do it with a quick message, just typing it up. And other times when I really want to get that love and adoration across, when I know that that message could possibly, they could be listening to it at 2 a.m. when they're after spending a time crying in the shower and being like, I am just not special, or I have just had a really bad day. When they have that voice message from me, even if they get it 2 or 3 years down the road, or they just go back and listen to it whenever, the fact is it's out there. It's out there. They have that love. They can go and get it anytime they want. Now, if I waited until I saw them again and said it in person, and waited until it was the exact right possible moment to do it, where we were not busy at all, those words might not ever get said. That love may not get translated. It may not get transmitted to them. And so what I do is, I'm so freaking busy, but my love language is bug me. So even if you don't hear from me, it does not mean I don't love you. First of all, it just means Carly's probably got epic stuff that she's doing right now. She's got so much on her plate, but that doesn't mean Carly doesn't love you, because Carly loves everyone. I love you. And I just want to give you the invitation that no matter how much time has passed, and Annie has also taught me this, Annie Lala, she's amazing. But once you understand that you can just put that love out there without any expectation of it ever being returned, do you know what happens? Your life gets so much more amazing. You get so many cool friends that you get to connect with. And maybe you don't see each other every day, or maybe you talk every day. But the fact is that you continue to grow that network. So now I can literally talk to anyone. I can go into a shop. I can see a salesperson and she might have on the cutest outfit. And I'll just say, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. What does that do? Well, first of all, it lights up the salesperson. She's happy now, right? When you hear that somebody loves something of yours, it makes you feel good. So do that for others, and then it will come back to you. But even when it doesn't right away, you know it's coming. You're putting that karma out into the world, and then epic shit just happens. It just happens. Like today, I was on the summit and I watched myself speaking on the panel from Austin. And at the end of it, Eben's just like, okay, who was inspired by that? And oh my God, the comments that I have to go back and read now, that's love that I can access anytime I need it. So that's the other thing, is when you send those messages out to people without that expectation, that is love that they can access anytime they need it. And they might be feeling so down on themselves, and suddenly they get your message and it lights them up. In fact, friends have done this for me. women who have just randomly come across my page and my work have done this for me, where I think to myself, nothing's working, nothing's getting through, nobody cares what I do, I should just stop. And then those messages come. So don't be stingy with your messages. Don't be stingy with your love. Don't be stingy with your gifts. Give them out, because then if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, you'll know you have no regrets. You'll just be like, I just wish I had more time to do this. But, I gave out a lot of love and a lot of value today. And my legacy lives on, because that is how you become immortal. And that's what I wanted to leave you with. I'm going to go do some epic shit tonight. And I will share more of my insights later.